I've been working on a little project, and it's a really good little practice project if you're learning how to sew, so I thought I'd share it with you. I have been making these little rag edge coasters, and it's warmer weather, so the drinks are sweating more. Plus, when you have people come over, they can all grab a different coaster, and it's a lot easier to remember whose drink or whose can was on what. One interesting thing I found, do you know the difference between a mug rug and a coaster? Well, this is a mug rug. A mug rug is supposed to be big enough for you to have a drink and a snack on the rug. So, and these are just a few of the ones I've made. Of all different shapes, I made a square and a heart, and this was the mug rug, and this is a circle. So if you want to try to make some, and I'm fixing to walk through one with you, but for your shapes, you can just, if you get a drink and set it down and kind of see how big you would want a mug, that's one thing. Mine are all about 6 inches, like this is a 6-inch circle. Now the mug rug was 8 by 6 or 6 by 8. The heart, I just put it inside the 6-inch circle, so that's about how big it is. And the square is about 6 by 6. Now if you don't want to wing it, I'll have a link down below to where my pattern is for these. So let's talk about fabric. It works best with something that's absorbent, naturally. Flannel is good. Quilting cottons, and actually the cheaper the fabric, the better it frays, which is kind of odd, but this is one time when, buy some cheap fabric and play with these. Be a good way to hone your skills and get something kind of practical too. But for each coaster, you're going to need 3 layers of fabric: a top layer, a bottom layer, and then a middle layer. So I definitely use flannel for the back and for the middle, but you can use anything. You don't want to use anything silky or not absorbent. I wouldn't use a knit because it's not going to fray. So if I were you, I would stick with flannels and quilting cottons. So let's grab one and I will show you how I put it together. So here are my 3 layers of fabric. Now your top layer, you're going to have the right side on top. The middle layer, it doesn't matter. The bottom layer, you want to have the right side facing out on it. So your 2 wrong sides of your fabric are facing to the inside, and then you have that middle layer. Now we're going to go to the machine and we're going to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. I'm just going to use a straight stitch on this one, but you do need a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now the 1/2 inch on this machine with a straight stitch is at the edge of the foot. So I have the edge of my fabric lined up with the edge of my foot. Now when you start sewing on something that has curves, you always want to start in a flat space. So that's why I picked as flat a one as I could. And we're not going to reverse or reinforce this first stitch because after I go all the way around, I'm going to sew over my beginning stitch. So put your needle in and away we go. And we're just going to take these curves as best we can. That's why I said this is really good practice for curves, but you could make your shapes without curves. Now if you get deep into a curve like I'm doing here and you see it's got a buckle, just lift your foot up a little bit and ease it a little bit over. That'll kind of ease your way into the next edge. No need to get in a hurry. Like I said, I have a 2.5 stitch length on these. That makes it a little bit easier to turn these curves when you have a smaller stitch. And once again, I'm buckling up, so I'm going to lift it up and ease it around just a little bit. And then let's see if we can make this center dip and ease right on around. With some of these, I used a decorative stitch, and that turned out really cute. But with the heart, all these curves, I'm just trying to get around. And here we go, and I'm going to be lined up so that I meet that and go over it just a couple of stitches, okay? And then cut that. Now, so there's our first round. And I usually do something to the inside. Sometimes I go inside, you know, a smaller heart inside or a crisscross. I just try to do something to the inside so that kind of keeps holding it together. But for this one, we'll just move along. It'll stay, I mean, it'll be fine with just the one seam. Now to make the edges raggy. I have this handy dandy pair of Fisker's rag scissors, which I dearly love, but you can do it with any scissors that you want to. What we're going to do is we're going to snip all around the edge, perpendicular to our seam line. And you see, you don't want to cut the seam, but you want to cut right up to it. And then you're going to move over about 1/4 inch and cut again. And you're going to do this all the way around, not getting in too big of a hurry. So there we go. Now, how to make it raggy is you can put it in the washing machine a couple of times and then in the dryer, or you can wet it down. If it's wet and you take a scrubby sponge and you scrub the edges, they will get all raggy. So that is my little project that I'm working on. I want to have a whole basket full of them sitting out on the porch so people can use them when they come by and grab something to drink. So let me know if you plan on making any of the coasters and what shape was your favorite.